Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nania and I want to just jump right into today's video. The main basis of today's video is to explain my experience being black in Taiwan. So I want to start off with just what I expected prior to moving here, what I've experienced while living here, and kind of briefly touch on how my perspective has changed with just the black experience in general, with me being black in America versus me being black outside of America. I'll start with what I expected prior to moving to Taiwan. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I did a lot of research. I wanted to prepare myself as much as I could before I got here. I knew with being in an Asian country that I would stick out like a sore thumb. I knew that I was different, and I knew that a lot of people here were not used to seeing black people on a daily basis. So I was definitely prepared for that prior to coming here. I just knew that there would be a lot of people just curious about me, whether it was my skin or my hair or me being from America. There are just a lot of things that people didn't know. Since I've been here, I have experienced just about everything that I looked up. I am stared at on a daily basis. Whenever I walk out of my apartment, I am going to be stared at. That is inevitable. A lot of people are seeing a black person for the first time ever. Pictures, you know, can I take a picture with you? Can I take a picture of you? Has definitely happened. As far as questions and comments that I've gotten, people always want to know where I'm from. That's one of the first questions people will ask. When I tell them that I'm American, they usually will want to know where my family originated from. So they expect me to say a place either in Africa or the Caribbean. But yeah, I tell them I'm American, and they will keep pushing until they get the answer that they were expecting. And when they don't, they are a little perplexed with that answer. So I think that's funny. I get questions about my hair, especially from my students. They want to know how my hair is so curly. Do I get perms to have my hair so curly? How do I attach the braids to my hair? How do I get my hair to be long one day and short the next? How do I wash my hair? I get a lot of questions about that. As far as my skin, I haven't received anything rude in terms of my skin. I do remember one of my second graders though, one day he rubbed my arm and he looked at his fingers to see if my skin would rub off. That was hilarious, but again, he's like 7 years old, so I didn't take any offense to it. But prior to coming here, it was a little nerve-wracking to know that I would experience those kinds of things. I think the biggest difference between the two, and which has really been a relief, is that now that I'm here, I'm in it, I've still had an amazing time being in Taiwan, although I am black. And when I first moved here, I did take the staring and things like that a lot more personal than I do now. I've just had to really open my mind and be very mindful of the cultural differences between America and Taiwan. Their culture here and the way that they think is just not the same as it is in America. They don't internalize things the same way that we do. And because I have voluntarily decided to move abroad and live in their country, I have to be mindful of those differences, and I can't allow the lens that I see things through. I can't necessarily bring that and allow it to affect my experience here. At the end of the day, there's nothing that I can do about it to change that. It is what it is. I will say something that I've experienced since I've been here that I wasn't expecting was American privilege. I remember having this conversation with my friends, and when we were having the conversation, I actually kind of got offended, and I was completely mind blown by this conversation. I won't even go into American history, but we know in America, black people have never been seen as having privilege. Since I've had that conversation with them, it's really opened my eyes to see being black completely different. Not even in just Taiwan, but other countries that I've traveled to as well. I am definitely granted privilege because I'm an American. There's no doubt about that. I will say that white is still seen as supreme here, just as it is in America. That mentality has spread far beyond just the Western society. As a Black American, I am still granted privilege, I think, over people from other countries. And so that is something that I was not expecting or had I ever been exposed to. Not saying that it's necessarily right, but it has been a part of my experience, and I wanted to note that because I know a lot of Black people at home would probably be surprised to hear that. But you have a lot of privilege being outside of America. Don't believe the hype, don't believe the media. People, they're gonna love you. They're going to love you. A lot of people from home want to know, are they racist? That is a very broad question, and there really is no short answer to that. I will say that in general, there are racist people everywhere around the world. I have had actually just one racist experience since I've been in Taiwan. Maybe I will save that story for another video. Sometimes people do have their mind made up about foreigners, or they do have their mind made up about Americans, or they do have their mind made up about Black people. I don't take a lot of the things personal that I experience here, because you may be the first Black person they've ever come in contact with. They just don't know, and they're just genuinely curious. And the few bad apples that I have run into have not made me change my outlook on the country or the people here. I do feel safe here. I mean, of course, regardless of where you're at, even if I was back at home, you always want to watch your back. You always want to be aware of your surroundings. But I do generally feel safe in Taiwan. I've never felt like anyone has gone out of their way to cause harm to me or had any ill intentions towards me because I'm Black or because I'm American or because I'm a foreigner. For the most part, the people here have been extremely welcoming and extremely helpful. They're generous people. They will go out of their way to welcome you and try to make you feel as comfortable as you can. So there have been plenty of instances that I can think of where people have just done things for me where I am completely in awe. Like, there's no way I would ever experience that back at home. The generosity that people just give you because you're a foreigner is incredible. It's incredible, and I've actually learned a lot. I've learned a lot and taken a lot from those experiences. So I'm extremely grateful for a lot of the people that I have crossed paths with because they've given me more than I could have ever expected. I actually enjoy being Black here. There have been times, plenty of times, where I go into an establishment and I am the only Black person in sight. And it actually sounds so much more bizarre when I say it, because when I'm living it and I go on my day-to-day, I really am not bothered by it. I mean, I miss familiar surroundings. I miss going out and seeing people that look like me, but I don't feel inferior to anyone, or I don't feel any type of way. Like, I embrace it. I walk proud in my skin here. I don't mind being different. Just like this has been a learning and growing experience for me, I think it's a learning and growing experience for the local people here as well. And that's why I enjoy being here, and I know that it's purposeful for me to be here, because now people have the opportunity to have their own personal experience with coming in contact with a Black person. So regardless of what the media tells them or what our culture or what other cultures tell them about us, they have their own personal experience with the Black person. They can fill those voids for themselves. Especially my students, I take pride in being their teacher Nini, because I hope one day when they grow up and they go out into the world, they will always remember who I am and how I treated them, and they will know, regardless of whatever the world has to say about us, their little young minds will remember me, and they will remember our experiences. So it allows my mind to be open to new things as well as theirs. They are open to seeing people that don't look like them. They're open to seeing people that don't talk like them, and they're just more aware of what's going on in the world or what else is out there in the world. And I think that's important, especially in 2020. So I enjoy being here, I embrace it, and we just gotta keep moving forward. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry, this is getting ghetto. My camera died and I'm losing sunlight, so that is my experience with being Black in Taiwan. As always, if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys for tuning into my videos and my channel. I will see you guys next time.